is the Department of Transportation doing to help the auto industry in lieu of those tariffs still being imposed on China?
So I think we have to look at what's actually the problem in the auto industry. So when we sell American-made cars over to Europe, they charge a 10% tariff. However, a European-made automobile that comes to the U.S., we charge them 2.5%. Why do we have to pay 7.5% more to sell an American car in Europe than they have to pay here in America? There's fundamental unfairness in the way the trading world works, and everyone wants to access the greatest and the biggest market in the world, which is us. But when we want to make products and sell it to them, they put up barriers. And so what the president has done is said, listen, we're not going to be taken advantage of anymore. We're going to support American workers, American products. And unless you break down your barriers and let us sell our products into your country, it's not going to work for you. And so we saw, over the course of the last week, some market turmoil. There's been some jitters. We saw a great recovery yesterday. This takes a little bit of time, but we're on the pathway to making sure that the greatest market and the greatest workers and the greatest companies are treated fairly. And by the way, this can be really hard stuff. Weak presidents have never done it. Donald Trump is not weak. He's not afraid to take on challenges, and he's not afraid to put America first, which is what these tariffs have actually done.
Any comment on this cabinet meeting specifically? Maybe a little different. Elon Musk won't be in the room this time.
Yeah, but you know what? Elon has helped build out an amazing team, and a lot of them, were people that he had worked with in his companies. Now we've broken that out and expanded it. We have really smart people who've done well in their careers that are willing to give back to their government and use their expertise to make the American government work better and be more efficient. And so, I have a quant who's in my office at DOT, a brilliant numbers guy, helping us look at how we're spending money. We have great lawyers that are coming in to make sure that our contracts are more effectively and efficiently written and better for the American taxpayer, that drive products, not just spending. And so Elon may not be there, but the conversation about government efficiency, I think, is still going to be there, as if Elon was in the room.
Yeah, well, everyone wants the government to run efficiently. Even Democrats have said that in the past, and now it's totally...
Well, I'm not so sure they do. You're giving them a lot of grace. Sometimes they're complaining about Doge.
I know. It's wild.
Yeah.
That's my point. Why is it happening now? Can I ask you about the man who previously served in the same role you are serving in now? Pete Buttigieg had pledged that there would be a huge investment in electric vehicles. The whole Biden administration wanted it to happen, especially when it comes to charging stations. That didn't happen, and he was even asked about it on Face the Nation last year. Let's go back in time and watch together.
The Federal Highway Administration says only 7 or 8 charging stations have been produced with a $7.5 billion investment that taxpayers made back in 2021. Why isn't that happening more quickly?
So the president's goal is to have 500,000 chargers up by the end of this decade. Now, in order to do a charger, it's more than just plunking a small device into the ground. There's utility work, and this is also really a new category of federal investment. But we've been working with each of the 50 states. Every one of them is getting formula dollars to do this work, engaging them in the first handful. Again, by 2030, 500,000 chargers, and the very first handful of chargers.
It was such a fail, by the way. They could not build these chargers. But is the Trump administration focusing efforts on that? I mean, Tesla is still a huge producer of electric vehicles in this country.
So I don't think the federal government should actually build charging stations. I think the private sector could do it, but the Congress sent the money to DOT to build charging stations. Here, I'm going to fill out what the answer should have been with regard to Pete Buttigieg. The reason you don't have charging stations, I think we have 66 now, is because of the crazy rules and regulations, the social justice and the green requirements that were put in to the money that was sent to states. They couldn't build with the money. They spent money, but didn't actually build charging stations for it. So what we've done at DOT is we've actually said, hold on, we're going to pause and we're going to rewrite the guidelines on how this program should work. If you're going to spend money, and the Congress says we have to unless they claw it back, if we're going to spend it, let's then build charging stations, right? And so we're going to look at the guidance to make sure that can happen. I'm not sure if the money is going to stay because, Congress and reconciliation, which you guys mentioned at the start of the program, right, that money may be grabbed and be used for something else. But again, this is liberalism at its finest. Spend lots of money and don't deliver for the American people.
Information, truth, is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.